What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Q&A, the show where I take your questions and answer them here in video format on the show. I take my questions from Twitter and YouTube, so thank you guys for asking them. And we're going to start off with the first question from Hunter, who says, I know you already covered this, but since the draft has already happened and we can see the prospects of the teams, is the AFC North the best division in the NFL? It's close. I mean, it's going to depend on how ready does Joe Burrow make the Bengals and how good is Big Ben? And then also, if the Browns can be what they're built to be, if all those things happen, which are very likely, it's going to be one of the best divisions in football, if not the best division in football. Now, you still have the NFC West, which is strong. The Cardinals just added DeAndre Hopkins to a team that really wasn't that bad last year. The Rams are still the Rams. They still have pieces there. I like what they did in the draft. Also, the Seahawks still have Russell Wilson. And San Francisco just went to the Super Bowl last year, so they're not going to go anywhere. So I would say the NFC West, until these things happen for the AFC North, is going to be the best division in football, but the AFC North can compete and get a close second, if not overtake them, if certain key things happen in the AFC North. Next question is from Ryan McGraw, who says, what holes are left in the defense? This is a very good question. You still need some experience at the stand-up linebacker positions. I don't think we have enough experience there. BJ Goodson might make the team. So you're talking about one guy out of many. So I think that's still a hole. I think also I want to get one more just dedicated run stuffer on that defensive line. I still don't think we have enough beef there for day one. I think Jordan Elliott's more of a project and more of a pass rusher at this point in his career. So that's what I'll say are the holes left in the defense. Next question comes from Browns fan who says, hey, Quincy, who will have the best year from the Browns draft class? Has to be Jedrick Wills, right? I mean, he's set up for all the success, but if I'm going to just take him out because obviously he should have the best year, then it's between Harrison Bryant and Grant Delpit, in all honesty. And I think Grant's in a prime position to do that. This defense is going to need a leader, a vocal guy to lead it. Grant is that guy. He was a leader at LSU. Patrick Queen went number 20. Patrick Queen went before him in the draft to Baltimore, but the people in LSU that coach LSU and that played at LSU on that defense all pointed to Grant Delpit being the leader of that team, being the best defensive player on that team. So he's that kind of guy, that kind of leader. So I could see him stepping into a prominent role if he's ready to go, if that ankle's healed up, and really making an impact, because the Browns do need a playmaker in the secondary, specifically at that free safety spot. So I would say Delpit. Obviously, Wills is going to hopefully we'll have a good first year, but Delpit would be my guy to have the biggest impact that we're not. The next question is from Spastic PS4, who says, do you think we make another run at Jadeveon Clowney? I would hope so. Why not? I mean, go ahead and get Jadeveon Clowney, shore up this run defense for the next 2 years, cut Olivier Vernon, because you got less value out of Olivier Vernon at $15 million last year than the Chiefs got out of Emmanuel Ogbah at under $1 million. It's just not worth it. I just don't see the potential there. I don't think he's a great fit on the other side of Myles Garrett. I don't think he stays healthy enough to be justified to get that number. So if you have a chance to upgrade with a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, why not? Why not? Yeah, if you have a chance to get Jadeveon, why not upgrade there? Because you're paying Olivier Vernon $15 million to be at best an $8 million player. Why not pay somebody $17 to be a $12 million player? That makes a lot more sense to me. The next question comes from Giants Nation, who says, my question is, where do you think Cam Newton is going? It's such a tough market for Cam Newton, to be honest. So many teams have quarterbacks that they're committed to. And Cam Newton is a guy that needs to start. He's not a guy that's going to just be on the bench and nobody's going to think of. He is a presence in himself. And I don't know where he can go, honestly. I thought the Patriots were going to take him. I think that makes sense, but the Patriots seem to not want him. Honestly, at this point, I have no idea what they're going to do with Cam, what Cam's going to do. I thought the Chargers would be a good landing spot for him. They took Justin Herbert. They're committed to that. I don't know. I think it's head-scratching that Cam finds himself in this predicament, but it's not as head scratching as it is just unfortunate for Cam Newton, because it's just not a market for him right now, because he certainly can be a starter in the NFL and a good starter. It's just there's not a lot of teams in a position to take him. The next question comes from Wes Cater, who says, hey, Quincy, free agency and the draft both look promising. I think the Browns are moving in the right direction. However, I'm a lifelong fan and have seen the wheels fall off numerous times. My question is about Kevin Stefanski. He says the right things and sounds good, but he is a new head coach and has some his new assistants in a new position. So what gives you confidence in his ability to coach a team to a winning record? It's a fair question. He doesn't have that much of an experienced staff around. I've raised that question before about Kevin Stefanski. So all of these are fair criticisms of him and his ability to coach a team to a winning record. I think, though, that, sometimes it's going to be all about the coach, and sometimes it's going to be all about what is surrounding him. Is there enough surrounding the coach that the coach doesn't have to do so much? The issue with Freddie Kitchens was the Browns had the big pieces, but they didn't have the little pieces, and Freddie Kitchens was not a coach capable of putting this thing together without the little pieces. He operated actually much better when he did have the little pieces. Freddie Kitchens was not going to be somebody who could scheme around the little pieces. Now, Kevin Stefanski's in a much better position than Freddie Kitchens because the little pieces are there and the big pieces are there. So all Kevin Stefanski needs to do is be competent. And do I believe Kevin Stefanski to be competent? Yes. So that's why I think he can coach his team to a winning record. I think we should expect this team to have a winning record, because no other franchise on earth, if it doesn't have the history of the Cleveland Browns, would have this roster and think 8-8's okay. No, that's not good enough. The Browns are going to have to make the playoffs. They're going to have to be above 500. That's the expectation. That's the penalty of having good players on your rosters, that the expectations are high. Yeah, the wheels can blow off. I get it, but that doesn't change what the expectations should be for this team, and they should be playoffs, and anything not playoffs is going to be a disappointment. The next question comes from Kevin Durant's burner account, who says, do you think Miles will re-sign with Cleveland when his contract's up? I see no indication why he wouldn't. I mean, the Browns look like they're going to be willing to give him the money, no hesitation. He looks like he's willing to take the money. There was really no friction between what happened with him and Mason Rudolph and how the organization handled it between him and the Haslams. They seem to support him. I think Myles Garrett is going to get his money. I think that's already written in the plans. It's just waiting for that to come off the books. I think Myles Garrett's going to be here. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be here. I think they already have worked out those contracts, honestly. And that hopefully there's not going to be a huge controversy, because it seems like, when we talk about re-signing these big name free agents, it's less about the value or whatever, because when it comes to these big name situations, it's normally the owners who get the final say on it, and it's less about like the value and the analytic things when it comes to guys who are going to get max money, and it's more about, does the organization want to pay that player? And you have to read the tea leaves on that conversation, right? With Zeke Elliott and Dallas, it was clear that they didn't want to play that player. They were going to play with this money. Same thing with Dak Prescott. But when it comes to the Browns and Myles Garrett, the tea leaves are clear. They want to pay him. They want to give him all his money. Same thing with Baker Mayfield if he gets to that point. So, yeah, I think Myles is going to be here after his rookie deal. The next question comes from Billy Moss, and he says, who do you think is better for this team, BJ Goodson or Clay Matthews for a veteran role? Well, BJ plays more of a stand-up linebacker role than Clay Matthews does. I like Clay Matthews just to get some depth on it. You can have both, honestly, but I would say Clay Matthews has more name value, so more people will put more stock into it, and maybe that works out in the locker room. More people are going to listen to him because he's Clay Matthews. But I don't know how he helps where the Browns need the help in the veteran position, because we don't need it at defensive end. We have a lot of veterans and savvy guys, Myles Garrett and Olivier Vernon as of right now. So I will go with Goodson because he does play more of that stand-up linebacker role. He's more valuable where the Browns need the value the most. Next question comes from Rhett B12, and he says, what's your biggest concern with this draft? I guess if you could say there's a concern, maybe we're projecting a lot of players to be better and to be better at certain positions than what they showed in college. And what I mean by that is, Jedrick Wills played right tackle. You're projecting him to be a left tackle. Grant Delpit played some box safety at LSU, more of a Jamal Adams role, but we're projecting him to be a free safety, more of a Minkah Fitzpatrick role. Harrison Bryant he's kind of the same. So I don't think there's much there. But even with Jordan Elliott, you're kind of projecting him for a different role. So a lot of projecting, but that's a lot of people in the draft. So I would say that's my biggest concern. And is any time with the draft, we might like these picks when the draft happens, but we might hate them, 2-3 years down the line. There are a lot of people who highly rated the 2014 draft for the Browns with Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel. So we never know. So that's, I guess, my biggest concern. The next question comes from Nah Bruv, who says, how well does Baker have to play to earn a large contract extension next offseason? He has to play well. He has to play better than last year. The team just has to win, and he has to be a part of it. And he can't seem like he's holding the team back. So if that doesn't happen, he'll get his extension. I don't know what numbers you're looking for to kind of make that case for you, but I would say that's the case for Baker Mayfield. This next question comes from Ice Trey 1993, who says, who's in a better situation, Burrow or J.K. Dobbins? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has a lot of targets to throw to, has a new left tackle, and he's a quarterback. Going to be the face of a franchise, and a franchise is desperate for one. I would say Joe Burrow. Next question comes from Pangas7, who says, when are we going to have the next AFC North talk? Pre-draft talk was fun. Looking forward to you guys' next post-draft analysis from you guys. Well, we just did one yesterday. 2 days ago by the time you watch this. So go ahead and check that out in the AFC North Talk video. But that's it for this week's questions. Thank you guys for asking. Thank you guys for spending the time. And as always, don't forget the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like what you see here. Don't forget to ding that notification bell so you don't miss a single thing. But again, guys, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day and have a good night.